Hey, horror fans! Once again, it is me, the Horror Miser Mani G. It's time to review the sixth installment in the scary movie franchises. And yes, the Wayan Brothers are back as we have Scary Movie. Yes, all lines will be crossed. Ha ha ha!
Y'all ready for this?
Hey, horror fans! Once again, it is me, the Horror Miser Mani G. Now, Scary Movie is a 2026 American horror comedy parody film. It was directed by Michael Titus. I think that's how you pronounce his name. It was written by Marlon, Sean Keenan, and Craig Waynans. Now, the film stars Ann Faris, Regina Hall, Marlon Wayans, and Sean Wayans. Now, in the film, two friends find themselves caught up in mayhem involving killers, monsters, and supernatural creatures once again. Yep, long as this film keeps making money, they're going to be making scary movies. Horror fans, after watching this movie last night, I am still trying to figure out what the hell did I watch last night. Yeah, the Waymans are back to the franchise they created back in 2000 with the original Scary Movie, a parody of the horror movie Scream, along with a number of pop culture references and other horror films. Now, that film grossed over $278 million worldwide, creating a movie franchise that has five films. The latest was Scary Movie 5 back in 2013. And now the Wayan Brothers have returned for the sixth installment in the series simply called Scary Movie. Yes, just like how Scream did in Scream 2022. It was Scream's 5, but just called it Scream, and here they're doing the same thing, Scary Movie, but it's actually Scary Movie 6. Now, unlike most of the time when I basically, in my movie reviews, I talk about the basic plot of the film, but here I really don't, there's really no need to talk about the plot or the premise of the film because it really isn't one, to be honest. I mean, the overall basis is the film is that it's pairing Scream and Scream 6. And that's basically it. There's a mashup between those two films, what happened between those two films. And again, a whole other bunch of pop culture references and other horror movies that get parodied as well. Now, I gotta take a step back because I saw Airplane, the parody film that was written by Abraham Zucker and Zucker. And what I mean by that is Jim Abrahams, David, and Jerry Zucker. They are brothers, which was a parody of all the disaster films that came out during the 70s. Now, despite some of the lowbrow humor that is in that particular film, I found that film very funny, as I did with the first Scary Movie. Now, which is weird because what I find is funny, parody comedy films are kind of hit or miss for me because there's so much lowbrow humor I can take. Most of the problem that I find with some comedy films, especially when it comes to parody films, they do such a bunch of lowbrow, crude, sexist jokes, and they repeat it all the time, whether it's fart jokes, dick jokes, or this type of jokes right there. It's like, all right, we got it the joke the first time around. But the problem is some writers have a tendency to repeat the joke over and over again. And like I said, you can tell that you can't tell that many dick jokes, you can't tell many fart jokes, you can't tell many sex jokes. So it just gets redundant and it stops being funny. And that's the problem I had with the scary movie films after the second one, as the Waymans left the franchise due to creative differences with the Weinsteins, who at the time owned Miramax. And we wouldn't even discuss about the Weinsteins before, but that was a problem. They had this different. That was a problem. They had creative differences. They left. They had somebody else do the scary movie films, and that's why most of those films suck. Now the Waymans are back for the sixth film. Most people, now that the Waymans are back for the sixth film, most people, including myself, believe that the franchise will revert back to what we saw in the first two films. Right? Unfortunately for me, that's not the case here, as the film lacks what the first two films did, were funny. Plus, it seems to me that the Waymans tried to include almost everything in here to make jokes about instead of just creating a decent horror comedy film. Now, which is kind of sad because I thought they did a great job with the opening of the film, as I liked the two cameos that appear in the beginning of the film, and I thought it was quite funny. No, typical Scream fashion because they are parodies Scream. You get the typical opening in that film, and I thought what they did in the opening film was very great. I said, "Wow, this is pretty good. I like this." Well, it wasn't really funny. I liked the idea. I liked the references they were doing with the people that were in that particular film. I thought it was leading to something that's very, very good. I even thought that the third act was quite funny because if you've seen the film, which I won't mention, they were definitely poking fun at the controversies regarding Scream 6 and Scream 7. I won't mention what it is, but if you've seen the film, you know what I'm talking about. And I thought it was a great way how they were poking fun at that. The problem that I do have is the middle part of the film that I have a problem with, as I find that that particular part of the film is dull, flat, and definitely not funny. They try very hard to poke fun at almost everything. I do mean everything from current horror films to pop culture and politics. As they say in the tagline, all lines will be crossed, and they do cross some lines. Some people will find some of the stuff they did offensive. They might not find it funny. They might find it they went too far. But for me, what they did, I didn't find funny at all. That's because I spent most of the time watching the film saying, wow, I recognize that from that movie, or wow, they went there, or others like, okay, they made a reference to that, they made a reference to this, they made a reference to that, but I'm not laughing. Where's the joke? What's going on here? It's like if you're going to poke fun at something, that's good, but it also has to be funny. Now, again, because comedy is subjective, some people might find what they did funny, and some people might not find what they did funny. But for me, I just didn't find it funny at all. I mean, I know what they were trying to do here, and I give them credit to trying to be bold, but you also have to make sure that your jokes land. And for most of the movie, for me at least, they just didn't land at all. There's a scene that takes place. You see in the trailer, so I'm not really giving anything away. Well, obviously they're poking fun at genders and the Karens and stuff like that. Obviously, when you see the whole scene take place. I know what they were trying to do here, and to me, I just didn't find the whole thing funny. I guess they thought they were going to make a joke, but again, you see the reference, you see what they're poking funny at, but where's the laughter? It's like the jokes simply just don't land, and that's a great example of what we see in this film here. Now, at least it was nice seeing Anna Faris, Regina Hall, Marlon, and Shane Wayans back again. You can call them the core four when it comes to the scary movie scene. Although I think Annie Faris was not in Scary Movie 5. I know she wasn't in all of them. And although Anna shines more as Cindy in this particular film here, I feel Regina tries her best to be Brenda, but is hampered by the script the Wayans have given her here. There's not a good flow for Brenda and Brenda's character here, as opposed to Cindy's character. I think she's her character arc is more fleshed out than Brenda's character. Now, director Michael Titus, who directed A Haunted House and a sequel, A Haunted House 2, once again fails as it seems he doesn't have the creativity to direct any type of comedy film, let alone a parody one, because we all know both those films were terrible. No one didn't like it. They were not funny. And again, same problem with this one here. This one is not funny at all. I think that's the reason why we got to give it back to Kenny Ivan Wayans because the first two films which he directed were funny even though I kind of like two better than the first one because it was poking fun at supernatural stuff. There's a great scene that parodies The Exorcist, which I thought was very funny. But again, Michael doesn't seem to know how to make scenes funny. Now, again, if you enjoyed this film, you found it funny. I'm glad for you guys, as I hope someone gets some enjoyment out of this film. As for me, I find the film lacks the laughs and cohesion that the first two films had. So I'm only going to give Scary Movie only one out of the Miser's five bloody gold coins. Very, very disappointed in this film. The main thing I expected out of this film is to laugh and have a good time. Yeah, the first part of the film is good. The third act of the film is good, but it's the middle part of the film that fell flat for me. I didn't laugh once. Some of the audience in the film, they got it. I mean, you guessed it. That's their type of humor, so they find it funny. I didn't find it funny at all. So definitely very, very bit disappointed for me here. So there you have it, horror fans. That is my review and video for a scary movie. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, like, and share. It really helps out with that YouTube algorithm. Have you seen Scary Movie? What do you thought about it? Did you actually had a good time and you got made you laugh? Please leave your comments in the comment section if you thought about it. Also, if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. That way, you'll be notified anytime we're to put a new video such as this one. Once again, my name is Lamont Smith, better known as the Horror Miser Monty G, and always remember horror rules. And I see you in my next video. Guys, stay safe out there.